Satellites used for telecommunication relay are kept in a geostationary orbit. A satellite is said to be in such orbit when, first, the orbit is geosynchronous orbit. So this is correct because geostationary orbit is a special case of geosynchronous orbit. Primarily, when we classify orbits based upon altitude, there are three types of orbits. First, low Earth orbit. Second, medium Earth orbit. And third, geosynchronous orbit, which is the higher orbit. And this geosynchronous orbit have a special case known as geostationary orbit. And that's why first statement is correct. Whenever a satellite or object is in geostationary orbit, it is actually in the geosynchronous orbit, because geosynchronous or the geostationary orbit is a special case of geosynchronous orbit. I hope it is clear. We'll discuss this in detail during our discussion of space technology chapter, right? Second statement, the orbit is circular. Yes, this is one of the features of geosynchronous and geostationary orbit. The shape of these orbits is circular. Next, third statement, the orbit lies in the plane of Earth's equator. So what we have discussed? We have discussed that geostationary is a special case of geosynchronous orbit. And what makes it special? This statement. Because the orbital plane of geostationary orbit is parallel to the orbital plane of equator or equatorial plane. Instead of saying orbital plane of equator, equatorial plane. Right? So the orbit lies in the plane of Earth's equator. That is one of the feature of geostationary orbit. And that's why even third statement is correct statement. Next, fourth statement, the orbit is at an altitude of 22,236 kilometers. So this statement is incorrect. Why? Because suppose this is the Earth's surface, then geostationary orbit is at the height of approximately 36,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. And hence, correct answer is A, 1, 2 and 3 only. Right? So, this question's answer is A, 1, 2 and 3 only. Next question. What is the difference between CFL and LED lamps? Statements. First, to produce light, a CFL uses mercury vapor and phosphor, while an LED lamp uses semi-conductor material. So this is the functioning, or this is the aspect of functioning of these lamps. LED uses semiconductor material for lightening purpose, and on the other hand, CFL uses mercury and phosphor in the bulb to produce light. And that's why first statement is correct statement. Second, the average lifespan of CFL is much longer than that of LED lamp. This is incorrect because the lifespan of LED lamps is larger than CFL. Third statement, a CFL is less energy efficient as compared to LED lamp. So this statement is correct because CFL is indeed less energy efficient than LED lamps, and hence first and third statement are correct, Answer is C, 1 and 3 only. Right? Next question. Question is, an artificial satellite orbiting around the Earth does not fall down. This is so because the attraction of the Earth, question mark, and we are supposed to find out correct statement from these four statements. So the most important question in the discussion of orbit is maintenance of orbit. That means how satellites once launched can continue to remain in their orbit. So that is the result of perfect balance between the gravitational pull of the Earth and the forward motion of the satellite. Right? So if there is a balance between, so suppose this is the Earth and in this orbit we have launched a satellite, and so let us consider this is the satellite. So there are two forces that are acting on this satellite in orbit. First is the gravitational pull of the Earth, and second is the forward motion of the satellite in the orbit. So when there is a perfect balance between these two forces, the gravitational pull and the forward motion of the satellite, as a result of this balance, this satellite will continue to revolve in the orbit. Right? So the maintenance of orbit is possible as a result of balance between gravitational pull and the forward motion. Right? Coming back to our question. So this particular maintenance of orbit is possible because the attraction of the Earth, that means the gravitational pull, provides acceleration based upon which the satellite can remain in the orbit. Right? So the attraction of the Earth provides necessary speed for its, provides the necessary acceleration for its motion. Right? So the correct option for this is D, because it is the gravitational pull of the Earth which will provide the necessary acceleration for that satellite to remain in the orbit. Right? So let us discuss this. An artificial satellite moving around the Earth in a circular orbit possesses an acceleration which is constant, but it is changing in direction. So the acceleration of satellite is constant, but its direction keeps on changing continuously. The speed must be great enough so gravity doesn't bring the satellite back on the Earth, but not so great that the satellite escapes gravity out in the space. Right? So there has to be a perfect balance, and that balance is provided by the attraction of the Earth, which provides it the proper acceleration. Right? So the attraction of the Earth provides the necessary acceleration for the motion of the satellite, and hence correct answer is D. Next now. Next question. What is the difference between asteroids and comets? Right? So the difference between asteroids and comets. First statement, asteroids are small rocky planetoids, while comets are formed of frozen gases held together by rocky and metallic materials. So this statement is correct statement because asteroids are small rocky planetoids. That means the leftover material of planets is in the form of asteroids, and on the other hand, comets are the gaseous material which are held together by rocky and metallic materials. So first statement is correct statement. Second, asteroids are found mostly between orbits of Jupiter and Mars. So this is correct because asteroids are mostly within the or between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. While comets are found mostly between Venus and Mercury. So this part of the statement is incorrect because comets are found beyond sun, and that's why they are even beyond Venus and Mercury, and hence completely this statement becomes incorrect. Third, comets show a perceptible glowing tail while asteroids do not. So yes, the comets have the glowing tail, but asteroids do not have such glowing tail, and that's why third statement is correct statement. Answer is 1 and 3 mentioned in option B. So let us discuss this particular explanation. An asteroid is a small rocky body that orbits sun. Asteroids are smaller than planet, but they are larger than pebble-sized objects we call meteoroids. Right? So asteroids are smaller than planets, but larger than meteoroids. Next, most asteroids in our solar system are found in the asteroid belt which lies between Mars and Jupiter. But they can also hang out in other locations around the solar system. For example, some asteroids orbit the sun in the path that takes them near to the Earth. Right? So, majorly asteroids are between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. Next, comets orbit the sun like asteroids, but comets are made up of ice and dust, not made up of rocks. As a comet's orbit takes it towards the sun, the ice and dust begin to vaporize. Fine. So, as the orbit of comet becomes closer to or gets closer to the sun, the dust and the dust and ice start vaporizing, and as a result of this, there will be a glowing tail of comets. Right? So, glowing tail is the result of vaporization of ice and dust particles. That vaporized ice and dust becomes comet's tail. Comets are the usual parent objects for meteors. So, the meteors that we witness often on the Earth's surface, their parent material is comets. Comets are flimsy objects, and when they come close to the sun, comets are flimsy objects, and when they come close to the sun, the dust and ice becomes or it gets vaporized, and that's why that leads to the formation of the tail of comet, as we have already discussed in the first point. Right? So that is the difference between asteroids and comets. The wrong choice or the wrong statement for comets is that it lies between the orbits of Venus and Mercury, because comets are closer to the sun, and that's why they are not found between the Venus and Mercury. Next question. The function of heavy water in nuclear reactors is. So, you must be aware of the fact that nuclear reactors are those sorry, let us discuss this question. The function of heavy water in a nuclear reactor is 2. So you must be aware of the fact that the nuclear reactor is the location where nuclear reaction is carried out in a controlled manner. And as a result of this, we'll be able to produce nuclear energy. And in nuclear reactors, we have nuclear fuel, and it is this location where nuclear reaction takes place. In order to ensure that this nuclear reaction takes place inside the reactor, it is necessary to make sure that neutrons neutrons react with the nuclear fuel. And in order to make sure that the neutrons react with the nuclear fuel, we should reduce the speed of these neutrons. And that is done using heavy water. Right? So heavy water is a moderator which slows down the speed of neutrons. Right? So if the speed of neutrons is slowed down, then we'll be able to make sure that these neutrons get bombarded against the fissile material of uranium-235, so that nuclear reaction can occur and nuclear energy is produced. Right? So correct answer is A. So heavy water is a neutron moderator to slow down neutrons so that they are more likely to react with a fissile material in the form of uranium-235. Answer is A.